For more on this, I'm joined in studio by our World Research Center analyst, Michael Arnold. He specializes in politics and history of the modern Middle East. Michael, thanks for coming in. Now, over the last 5 weeks, we've seen these mass demonstrations, but they've been very united. People in Lebanon, from all walks of life, have come together from different sects. This is now the first time that we're seeing two different groups protesting and actually attacking each other. Why is this happening now?
Sure. I think, the first thing to say is that in Lebanon, things are not always as they appear to be. There's a history in this country of trying to interpret or translate socioeconomic issues into sectarian terms. So I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing what we could call a weaponization of sectarian identity to try to restate this identity not only of the state but of the supporters of the various parties involved. I think since October 17th, one thing that we can say for sure is that the terms of the debate in Lebanon have shifted. They've shifted more towards socioeconomic issues away from sectarian issues. And what we're seeing now with these deliberate attempts to stoke sort of sectarian feelings is an attempt to restate the terms of that debate in sectarian terms. So for example, before the clashes took place 2 nights ago, we had supporters of Amal and Hezbollah coming down to the ring road near downtown Beirut, chanting very clearly sectarian slogans in an attempt to sort of provoke this type of reaction, which of course was successfully done. And we saw similar things last night. Not only clashes between supporters of Hariri and Hezbollah, but also direct attacks against protest camps in Beirut and in the south of Lebanon as well from Hezbollah and Amal supporters. This is also coming in tail of a fairly ominous message from Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah in the previous weeks, who said that if his supporters come down into the street, which they previously weren't, they wouldn't leave until their objectives were completed. So I think now what we're seeing also is this attempt to impose a political solution on the issue. Something to keep in mind is that the specter of the civil war looms very large in Lebanon. And so merely the fear and the possibility of descending into sectarian violence may be enough for those who are seeking to have a particular political agenda to be able to push that under this banner of, look, we have to do something now because look at the dangerous road we're heading down.
So many different things at play here.
Sure.
And on Monday we heard from some business leaders who were calling for a 3-day general strike. Do you think this tactic will actually force the government to now finally form a new cabinet and a new government?
And I think this is one tactic out of many that we've been seeing. So there have been strikes in the past several weeks. There's also been efforts within sort of professional associations in terms of electing independent officials. The most notable example is the Beirut Bar Association, where Malham Khalaf, an independent lawyer, was elected. So I think this 3-day strike, if it goes ahead in and of itself, obviously is not going to be sort of the breaking moment. But it could add to the pressure. Something to keep in mind, though, which some commentators have brought up, is that this particular group calling for this 3-day strike includes the banks. And a number of commentators had pointed out that strikes or sort of strikes by the banks in particular may actually be a way to give them time so that they do not have to deal with sort of irate customers and give them time to try to adjust to the issues that they're facing. So it's a mixed bag of things here, but in general, the tactic could help push that pressure to form a government, definitely.
Interesting to see how this plays out in the next few days. Michael Arnold, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.